Hello everyone, welcome to the What If Anime YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into an exciting new story that will take your imagination to the next level. Let's get started. What if female Sasuke fell in love with exiled Naruto? If you enjoy the video, hit subscribe and check the description for more. Let's jump into the story. The council chamber reeked of fear, sharp and bitter. Sasuke surveyed the faces around the oval table, lamplight casting shadows over furrowed brows and tight lips. Rain battered the windows outside, its rhythm echoing the tension within. "We can't ignore this anymore," Homura Kato said, voice worn but resolute. 3 incidents in 3 weeks. The boys losing control. Satsuki's fist clenched beneath the table. Naruto always regains control. For how long? Danzo leaned forward, his single eye glinting with something far from concern. How many more must suffer or die before we admit the threat? Lightning flashed, bathing the room in stark white, exposing Danzo's hunger, Koharu's resigned frown, and Shikaku Nara's detached calculation. "Perhaps," Kakashi said from his corner, voice calm but posture tense, "we should consider what's triggering these episodes." Danzo waved dismissively. "The trigger doesn't matter. The Nine Tails grows stronger, Uzumaki weaker in containing it." Unbidden images flooded Satsuki's mind, a training ground reduced to a crater, trees uprooted, a hospital wing with 4 jonin in critical condition, their chakra networks scorched. Naruto's horrified face, blue eyes rimmed with crimson. "Show them," Danzo ordered an umbu in the corner. A projector hummed, displaying footage on the wall, Naruto sparring with Kakashi, movements normal until a violent red chakra flare shook the recording. When it cleared, Naruto was hunched, a bubbling red cloak around him, not 1 or 2 tails, but 4 thrashing behind. His face was feral, elongated, eyes burning slits, no longer human. Kakashi's desperate lightning blade was swatted aside, and the thing in Naruto's skin lunged with terrifying speed. The footage cut to black. "This was yesterday," Danzo said into the silence. "Captain Haytake barely survived." Kakashi's hand drifted to his bandaged side. "He didn't mean it," Tsunade said, her words sounding hollow even to her. "Intent doesn't matter when the damage is done," Koharu said, her brittle voice heavy. "The first Hokage's wife contained the 9 tails. Your predecessor's wife did too. But Naruto's borne it since infancy," Tsunade cut in, a burden no other Jinchuriki faced. "Which proves the danger," Danzo countered. "The seal weakens, the beast strengthens. And now, something else is happening." The projector showed Naruto's chakra scans. Satsuki's breath caught. She'd seen these, ordered by Tsunade, but their stark display twisted her gut. The 9 tails chakra wasn't just leaking, it was merging with Naruto's, forming unprecedented patterns. "This isn't mere containment failure," Shikaku said, breaking his silence. "It's mutation." Silence fell, punctuated by rain. "I've studied every Jinchuriki record," Tsunade said, voice steady. "None showed this pattern." Danzo seized the moment. "We face an unknown threat. The 9 tails isn't just trying to escape, it's transforming its host. Or Naruto's transforming it," Kakashi said quietly. Danzo's eye narrowed. "A meaningless distinction. The boy we knew is becoming something else. What are you proposing?" Tsunade demanded, dread coiling in her stomach. She already knew. "Permanent containment," Danzo said, words like stones. "The village comes first." "Execution," Kakashi said flatly. "Protection," Danzo corrected. "Of the many over the one." Tsunade slammed her palm on the table, splintering wood. "He's one of us." "Is he?" Homura asked, uncertainty in his aged voice. "Can we be sure?" Rain dripped from the falcon mask of an umbu perched on the roof, Satsuki Uchiha Sharinon recording every word through a vent. Her heart raced despite her elite training. Emotion was a weakness she'd supposedly shed with her childhood and clan name. Yet, her pulse pounded as they discussed Naruto like a rabid beast to be put down. Idiot, she thought, unsure if she meant Naruto or herself for caring. The council dispersed below, murmurs of alternatives trailing as Tsunade stormed out a temporary reprieve. Sasuke slipped across rain-slick rooftops, not to her quarters but to a small east side apartment. Landing on its balcony, she peered through rain-streaked windows. The empty space amplified its usual chaos, ramen cups stacked haphazardly, training gear strewn about, a team photo from their Genin days, her scowl beside Naruto's grin. She hadn't spoken to Naruto in months, their paths diverging, hers to his to Jiraiya's training. But she'd watched him, noting changes others missed, deepening shadows under his eyes, smiles that didn't reach them, moments he froze mid-conversation, head tilted as if hearing something inaudible. I get these headaches, he'd once told her during a rare encounter, like something's clawing out of my skull. She'd brushed it off. Now, it chilled her. Satsuki melted into the rain, decision made. The council wanted containment, she'd handle it her way. The forest north of Konoha buzzed with nocturnal life, chirping insects, prowling predators, leaves rustling in the drizzle. Naruto stumbled through, unseeing, pain pulsing behind his eyes like a countdown. 3 sleepless days left him hollow, ragged. Sleep brought dreams, and dreams brought "let me show you again, kid," a voice whispered, not the nine-tail snarl but something ancient, layered. Shut up, Naruto hissed, pressing his temples. You can't keep me waiting forever. The seal cracks. Your resistance falters. Shut up. Naruto's fist splintered a tree trunk. Memories surged, Kakashi's shocked face as red chakra enveloped them, the crunch of his sensei's ribs under his clawed hand, blood's metallic tang. Bile rose as he stumbled. What was happening? The Nine Tails had always mocked or raged, but this voice spoke of transformation, power beyond imagination. They fear what they don't understand, it purred. As they've always feared you. They're my friends, my village, Naruto said, sinking to his knees in mud, tears mixing with rain. I'd never hurt them. Yet you have. And they're coming for you now. Chakra's signatures surrounded him, moving with precision. He should surrender, let them take him. Kakashi would understand, Sakura would heal him, Satsuki would see the monster they whispered he was. Captain, a voice called from the dark. Target surrounded. Awaiting orders. A familiar chakra cold, sharp as lightning tickled his senses, but the forest erupted before he could place it. 8 umbu struck in sync, a water jutsu slammed from the left, earth binding snaked up his legs, chakra suppressing tags flew from all sides. Reflexively, Naruto's hand rose, a red chakra wave exploding outward, incinerating tags. 2 umbu flew back, masks cracking. Non-lethal restraint failed, a voice barked. Lethal force authorized. Time slowed. Naruto watched distantly as umbu drew weapons, steel glinting in the rain. Something inside cracked, not the seal, something deeper. Now, kid. Let me in. Let me save us. No, Naruto gasped, clinging to control. I won't. A blade pierced his chest, sliding between ribs. Pain bloomed, hot and wet. Another struck his kidney, a third slashed his throat. He collapsed, blood pooling with mud and rain. The forest blurred as he tried to speak, producing only a gurgle. They betray you, as humans always do. But I am patient. I've waited eons for a worthy vessel. Umbu encircled him, masks emotionless as his life drained. They were the last thing he saw as darkness closed in. Let go, kid. Fall into the depths. What awaits isn't death, but ascension. With his final thought, Naruto surrendered. The containment mission was flawless, target neutralized. Threat eliminated. The elite Umbu squadron vanished before questions arose, none returning to see what followed. Midnight passed, rain intensifying, drumming the forest canopy. Naruto's body lay crumpled, blood pooling, skin waxy with death. Then, deep within his consciousness, something stirred, not the nine tails, but something vaster, older, endlessly patient. Rain on his skin steamed, mud bubbled around him. Blood flowed back into his wounds. Ancient roots beneath recoiled, animals fled in silent panic, the air thick with potential. Slowly, Naruto's body rose, levitating inches above the ground. Wounds knitted shut, skin rippling as if something moved beneath. His sun-bright hair darkened, crimson and black threading through gold. His eyes opened, not blue, but alien, with spiraling purple and black rings, tome-like marks rotating within. When he spoke, two voices merged in terrible harmony. We have been waiting for this moment. The entity that had been Naruto spoke, raindrops hissing as they evaporated on his superheated skin. The time of hiding is over. The reckoning begins. A smile stretched across his face, still Naruto's features, but subtly wrong, proportions askew. Konoha will learn the cost of casting out a god. Lightning tore the sky, revealing a forest stripped of life around him. Where vibrant undergrowth once thrived, only ash remained, forming a perfect 30-foot circle in every direction. The being both Naruto and not raised a hand, studying it with detached curiosity. Chakra, unlike the nine tails red, shimmered deep violet laced with gold, dancing across his fingertips. Interesting, the dual voices mused. Such potential in this vessel. Such rage. Such hunger for acknowledgement. His gaze turned to Konoha's distant lights, faint through the storm. We'll give them reason to acknowledge you, little one. They'll tremble at your name. Thunder roared, a divine drum roll heralding the return of something ancient, forgotten by the world. 3 months of silence ended with a blood-stained message. Satsuki Uchiha stood motionless before the Hokage's desk, her falcon Umbu mask hiding any reaction as Tsunade slapped photographs across the polished wood, fanning out like grim cards. Aerial shots showed perfect circles carved into the landscape where villages once stood. Takumai Village, population 312, vanished 4 days ago, Tsunade said, voice cracking with exhaustion, tapping the first image. Her finger slid to the next. Shimju Outpost, gone 3 days later. Then another, Northern Pass Trading Post, yesterday. Rain lashed the windows, twilight bleeding into shadows outside. Lightning fractured the clouds, illuminating the office and making the photos' details starkly horrifying. No bodies? Satsuki asked, voice cool behind her mask. None, Tsunade replied, reaching for her empty sake cup before shoving it aside. No blood, no struggle, just absence. People, buildings, livestock, gone. Only perfect circles remain, like the one around Naruto's body that night. Satsuki suppressed the memory with trained discipline. Survivors? She asked. Tsunade nodded to Shizuan, who presented a medical chart. One, a farmer returning from hunting, found wandering, nearly catatonic. Tsunade paused, massaging her temples. When he spoke, he said, the golden boy with spiral eyes took them to see the old gods. Satsuki's pulse quickened, though her posture remained still. Sounds familiar, Tsunade said, locking eyes with Satsuki's mask. You believe it's Uzumaki? Remove your mask, Captain. This requires faces. Satsuki complied, revealing sharpened features, high cheekbones, obsidian eyes hiding all emotion, a mouth set in determination. At 20, she carried the weight of someone who'd lost everything twice. You were the last to see the body, Tsunade said, leaning forward. You verified the kill. I observed from a distance, as ordered. Satsuki lied smoothly. The squad executed the mission. Uzumaki fell. I reported accurately. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. Yet 3 months later, villages vanish, and our only witness describes someone sounding like Konoha's supposedly dead Jinchuriki. Tension crackled between them, thunder growling outside. Perhaps it's an imposter using the Nine-Tails reputation, Satsuki suggested neutrally. I hope so. Tsunade opened a drawer, withdrawing a sealed container humming with containment jutsu, reserved for biohazards or volatile chakra. She unsealed it, revealing a vial of black sand. This was collected from Takumai village's perimeter, she said, placing it between them. It's not sand, it's ash. Human ash, with traces of an unrecorded chakra signature. Satsuki's Sharingan flared instinctively, the ash pulsing with faint violet light. It's not the Nine-Tails chakra, Tsunade said, watching her. This is something older. You have a theory, Satsuki said, not a question. Tsunade closed her eyes, looking her age. Remember the Sage of the Six Paths legends? How the 10 tails was split into 9 beasts? Children's stories, Satsuki said dismissively. All legends hold truth, Tsunade replied, voice low. What if the 9 tails wasn't just a 10 tails fragment? What if it was a seal, a prison for something even the sage feared to unleash? Satsuki's eyes widened slightly. You think Naruto broke that seal? I think something awoke in him that makes the 9 tails seem tame, Tsunade said heavily. It's consuming communities for a purpose we don't understand. The implications loomed vast and terrible. Why tell me? Satsuki asked, though she knew. Tsunade rose, staring out at the storm battering Konoha. Because you'll hunt him down and finish what should have ended 3 months ago. Other captains are better trackers, stronger, but none have your advantages. She turned, eyes like flint. Your Sharingan sees chakra patterns others miss. You can track him through techniques that'd blind others. And, her voice softened. You knew him better than most. You'll recognize his patterns, his thinking. And he might hesitate to kill me, Satsuki thought, unspoken. This is S-rank, she said. Obviously. Tsunade retrieved a sealed scroll from a hidden compartment. You'll lead a 4-person team from the Special Tactics Division, with full authority to requisition resources. One objective, find and eliminate the threat. And if it can be contained. Satsuki asked neutrally. Tsunade's laugh was bitter. Look at those photos, Captain. Does that look containable? Satsuki took the scroll, its weight heavy. When do I depart? Dawn, Tsunade said, gaze assessing. Unless you have reservations about killing a former teammate. Satsuki met her eyes unflinchingly. Naruto Uzumaki died 3 months ago. Whatever wears his face is Konoha's enemy. Tsunade nodded, satisfied. Dismissed. Satsuki's Umbu quarters were sparse but personal, ancestral blades on a rack, a calligraphy scroll with her clan's crest, strategy texts with her precise annotations. She sealed supplies into scrolls, mined elsewhere. The mission was clear, but its execution complex. 3 months ago, she'd shadowed the Umbu squad, watched Naruto fall under their blades. She'd planned to intervene, not to save him but to assess. Then rain obscured her view, and a profound chakra disturbance paralyzed her. When she reached the clearing, the Umbu and Naruto's body were gone. She'd assumed scavengers or the Nine-Tails chakra disintegrated him, reporting as such. Now, she questioned what she'd seen. A sharp knock interrupted. Captain, an Umbu with a boar mask said, kneeling outside. Intelligence completed the profile you requested. He handed her a sealed folder. No survivors from the third site, but we recovered this. He offered a scroll. Surveillance seals from the northern pass activated briefly before failing. The footage is disturbing. He hesitated, unusual for an operative. Permission to speak freely. Granted, Satsuki said, raising an eyebrow. The analyst who viewed this requested immediate psychological evaluation, he said quietly. Whatever's out there isn't just physically dangerous. Satsuki nodded, dismissing him. Locking her door, she activated the projection jutsu. Images flickered. The Northern Pass trading post, merchants haggling, guards patrolling, children playing. Then, an eerie stillness, as if the air solidified. Everyone froze, heads turning off camera, curiosity turning to terror. A figure entered Naruto, but not. Taller, leanly muscled under a tattered black cloak, golden hair streaked crimson. His eyes spiraling purple and black, hypnotic seized her. He moved with inhuman grace, lips forming inaudible words. Raising a hand, he unleashed chakra, not the nine tails chaos, but precise, weaving complex patterns. Villagers didn't scream or run, they dissolved into particles, flowing toward him. Buildings deconstructed, swirling around him in a tornado of matter. The footage cut as the seal was consumed. Satsuki sat still, processing. Not destruction, deconstruction. Not chaos, purpose. Whatever possessed Naruto wasn't destroying, it was harvesting. She opened the intelligence profile, scanning analyses, witness statements, and patterns. The attacks followed ancient geometric designs tied to forgotten religions, targeting chakra ley line nodes. The purpose was unclear, but the method suggested ritual, not vengeance. Lightning lit her quarters, casting her solitary shadow. What happened to you, Naruto? The thought broke her detachment. They'd been teammates, rivals, almost friends in a distant life. She'd watched Konoha isolate, fear, and eliminate him. Now, she'd finish it. Satsuki donned her armor, secured her mask, and sealed her equipment. Dawn was hours away, sleep impossible. She headed to the archives. Ancient texts might hold clues to defeating an ancient force. Moving through rain-slick streets toward the Hokage Tower, a crawling sensation hit her spine, being watched by something vast, patient. Her Sharingan scanned rooftops and shadows, finding nothing, but the feeling lingered, with a whispered thought from nowhere, I've been waiting for you, Satsuki Uchiha. The northern territories sprawled with dense forests and rolling meadows. Settlements dotted the northern territories, nestled in valleys or perched on strategic ridges of fertile land teeming with wildlife. Or it had been. Satsuki crouched on a hill overlooking the former Shimju outpost, her team holding perimeter positions. Mist replaced rain, cloaking the landscape in an ethereal haze, accentuating the perfect circle of ash below. No tracks leading away, reported Tenzo, codenamed Hawk, his wood-style jutsu communing with nearby trees. Nothing living has passed since the incident. Sensory sweeps negative, added Hideki, snake mask in place. No chakra signatures residual or active within 5 kilometers. That's impossible, said Abarame Rei, behind her spider mask. Even civilian settlements leave chakra traces. People live, work, leave energy behind. There should be something. Unless it was taken, Satsuki said quietly, her Sharingan scanning the ash circle. Harvested, along with everything else. The fourth member, Genjutsu specialist codenamed Mouse, approached, clutching a scorched child's doll, barely intact, dropped just outside the circle. Found this at the perimeter, Captain. Survivors? Satsuki asked, knowing the answer. None, Mouse confirmed. The circle's precise, everything inside, gone. Outside, untouched. Satsuki stood, scanning the horizon. We move north. The pattern points to Ryoshi village, 40 kilometers away. We arrive before nightfall. Her team nodded, falling into formation as they leaped through the trees. Mist swirled, parting to reveal transformed landscapes, perfect ash circles disrupting the green forest and fields. Satsuki set a relentless pace, mind racing. The intelligence was accurate. The attacks followed a geometric spiral, converging toward an unknown center. They paused at midday, taking soldier pills instead of eating. No one complained. They'd seen the footage, read the reports. Speed was their edge. "Captain," Hawk said quietly as they prepared to move. "The pattern analysis, have you considered what it resembles?" Satsuki's gaze sharpened. "Speak freely." "It matches the spiral in the target's eyes, as if he's recreating it across the landscape." Hawk hesitated. "The ancient texts you had me review mentioned such patterns as summoning arrays." The implication hung heavy, like thunder before lightning. "Summoning what?" Snake asked, voicing their shared question. Satsuki secured her mask, ending the discussion. "We'll find out at Ryoshi." "Move." 2 hours of tense silence passed before Snake signaled a halt. "Chakra's signature, 2 o'clock. Massive, unlike anything I've sensed." Satsuki ordered concealment. The team vanished into the canopy, suppressing chakra to near invisibility. "Distance," she whispered. 8 kilometers, moving away, Snake replied, voice strained. "It's like staring at the sun. I can barely focus." Satsuki decided swiftly. "We track it?" "Maximum concealment, observation only, no engagement without my order." They shifted course, moving with the silent precision that made Umbu feared. As they closed in, Satsuki felt the chakra, a boundless, ancient ocean. The forest opened to a valley cradling Minoru village, still alive with farmers, cooking fires, and children playing. Walking toward the gates was a solitary figure in a black cloak. "Target confirmed," Satsuki breathed, Sharingan capturing every detail. "Hold positions." Even from afar, Naruto's changes were stark. He moved with fluid grace, devoid of his old exuberance. Crimson-streaked golden hair hung longer around a sharper face. Villagers nodded respectfully as he passed, showing no fear or recognition. "They're not fleeing," Mouse observed tensely. "Do they not know what he is?" "They see what he wants," Spider said. "Basic genjutsu, maybe." Satsuki wasn't convinced. The villagers' reverence seemed genuine, not genjutsu's glassy compliance. "We need closer observation," she decided. "Spider, deploy surveillance insects." "Snake, monitor chakra." "Hawk, Mouse, set fallback positions." "I'll advance for visual confirmation." Before objections, Satsuki vanished, moving through shadows to a farmer's shed at the village edge, offering a clear view of the square. Naruto stood at the center, speaking with elders, his voice deeper, layered with harmonics that vibrated the air. "Preparations complete by tomorrow's moonrise," he said. "Those who wish to ascend, fast from dawn. Those who stay, remain beyond the markers." "Will it hurt?" an elderly woman asked, fear and hope in her lined face. Naruto's smile was familiar yet alien. "No more than birth." A moment of transformation, then enlightenment. Satsuki's eyes narrowed. He was offering choice, warning them, not mindless destruction, which made it more unsettling. Edging closer, she froze as a child's voice rang out, "Mister, someone's hiding in our shed." Every head turned. Before Satsuki could retreat, a tidal wave of chakra pinned her through sheer pressure. "We have a visitor," Naruto's dual-toned voice carried. "Come out, little falcon. Your mask doesn't hide you from these eyes." Her heart pounded as she calculated. She could signal her team, initiate an attack 4 against 1, favorable odds. But curiosity, or something deeper, stayed her hand. Stepping into the square, mask on, hand away from her sword, she faced Naruto as villagers formed a circle around Konoha's assassin and the transformed Jinchuriki. Neither spoke at first. Then Naruto tilted his head, spiral eyes hypnotic. "They sent you," he said, not a question. "Of course, the Sharingan against the monster." "Predictable." What are you doing, Naruto? Satsuki asked, voice professional. He smiled, eyes cold. Righting wrongs. Fulfilling potential. Becoming. He gestured to the village, offering others the same. You've destroyed 3 settlements, hundreds dead. Not dead, transformed, he corrected, stepping closer. Satsuki held her ground. Death is an end. I offer continuation. The air distorted around him, reality bending. Her Sharingan saw his chakra familiar blue nearly eclipsed by vast violet, woven with incomprehensible patterns. Remove your mask, Satsuki, he said softly. Let me see if you've changed as I have. Her name, not her rank or clan, jolted her. Protocol demanded anonymity, yet she removed the mask, revealing her face. Naruto's expression flickered with something human. There you are, he murmured, still burning with that fire. Come back to Konoha, Satsuki said, surprising herself. The Hokage can help contain this. His laugh was musical, terrible, rippling like heat. Contain? Why contain divinity? He gestured skyward. They feared what they couldn't understand, so they tried to kill me. In death, I found truth. In sacrifice, ascension. He nodded to the villagers. They've seen what I offer. The village that cast me out sent assassins. These people listen, choose freely. His gaze intensified. As you could, Satsuki Uchiha. A tremor ran through her, fear or something else. My mission is to stop you. Your mission, he said, voice hardening, was to kill me 3 months ago. You watched as Umbu blades pierced my heart. You did nothing. Why? The question struck like a blow. Why had she watched, paralyzed by doubt, curiosity, or their old bond? Before she could answer, he softened. It doesn't matter. You're here, you've seen. That's enough for today. Turning to the elders, he said, prepare as instructed. Tomorrow night brings ascension for those who choose. Satsuki's hand drifted to her sword, 4 against 1, favorable odds. She could signal, stop this now. As if sensing her, Naruto glanced back. You won't attack today, Satsuki. You have questions needing answers first. His spiral eyes pierced her Umbu training and Uchiha pride, seeing her uncertainty. When you're ready for answers, come alone. I'll be waiting. His form blurred, vanishing, not a shinobi's body flicker, but as if stepping out of reality. The chakra pressure lifted, leaving Satsuki gasping. Villagers resumed their tasks, unfazed. Her team materialized, tense for a fight that wouldn't come. Orders, Captain. Hawk asked neutrally. Satsuki donned her mask, hiding her turmoil. Observe until nightfall, then fall back to establish a perimeter. Tomorrow, we evacuate willing villagers and neutralize the threat. And those who refuse? Spider asked. Satsuki's gaze swept the village, ordinary people, faces not fearful but excited, anticipating something incomprehensible. We complete our mission, she said. Anyone with the target becomes a target. As they set surveillance positions, Satsuki couldn't shake her Sharingan's images. Naruto, transformed yet recognizable, speaking with clarity, not madness, precise destruction suggesting purpose, not revenge. And the question haunting her, what if the real monster wasn't Naruto, but the village that shaped him into this? Dawn fractured the eastern sky like broken glass as Satsuki stood amid Minoru Village's ruins. Residual energy crackled, raising the hairs on her arms. Despite the morning warmth, her team scoured the perfect circle of devastation, using instruments and jutsu to gather scarce evidence. It happened as he said, Snake reported, deactivating his Byakugan after fruitless scans. At moonrise, those inside the circle gone. Those outside, untouched. Not everyone chose ascension, Mouse added, kneeling beside a sobbing woman clutching a child's sandal. About 40 villagers evacuated beforehand. Sasuke knelt, sifting the strange ash that shimmered unnaturally, catching light in ways carbon shouldn't. Her Sharingan detected faint chakra pulses within each particle, not fading but evolving into something new. "He's not killing them," she murmured, almost to herself. "Captain?" Hawk asked, appearing beside her. Satsuki rose smoothly, dusting her gloves. "This is unprecedented, not random destruction, but methodical transformation. Each site is a node in a summoning array." "As we suspected," Hawk agreed, unrolling a map marked with affected locations. Connected, they formed a spiral centering on a chilling point. "The Valley of the End," Satsuki said, tracing it, a legendary site where the first Hokage battled Madara Uchiha, marked by statues of former friends turned enemies. "How fitting." "Intercept course plotted," she decided, snapping the map shut. "Based on the pattern, we have 36 hours before the next node. We move now." Her team packed without complaint, despite sleeplessness. Fear not for themselves, but for the consequences of failure drove their tense movements and wary glances. Approaching the weeping woman, Satsuki softened her voice. "What did he tell you before it happened?" The woman looked up, eyes red. "That suffering's a choice, that old ways trap us in pain." Her grip tightened on the sandal. "My husband believed him, took our daughter into the circle. Said they'd wait for me on the other side." "What other side?" "He didn't say, just that the veil between worlds is thin, and the brave who step through will remake creation." Fresh tears fell. "I was a coward. I stayed." Satsuki's jaw clenched, false promises preying on desperation, an ancient tactic. But the woman's next words halted her. "He knew things, my daughter's illness, prayers I whispered to empty skies." Her gaze held Satsuki's with intensity. What if he was telling the truth? Satsuki had no answer. Handing the woman a ration pack, she moved on, troubled by questions she couldn't entertain. They traveled relentlessly, a four-person shadow through wild landscapes. The land itself was changing, subtle shifts in vegetation, erratic wildlife, unnatural phenomena. Brief electrical storms sparked from clear skies, fog pulsed rhythmically, birds flew in eerily precise formations. The natural world's recalibrating, Spider observed at a stream, her insects buzzing erratically, disrupted by an unseen force. Or reverting, Hawk suggested, touching an oak with spiraling bark matching the array's pattern. "These formations, I've seen them in texts predating shinobi civilization." "Keep moving," Satsuki ordered, uneasy as the sky took a violet hue visible only to her Sharingan. By midday, they crested a ridge and froze. Tanzaku Outpost, population 173, should have stood below. Instead, an impossible temple complex rose, massive stones fitted seamlessly, columns bending light, staircases spiraling to hanging gardens with synchronized flowers and fractal trees. At the center, a black stone pyramid absorbed light. "That's impossible," Snake whispered, Byakugan straining. "The chakra in those stones would take decades to infuse. He built this overnight." Satsuki recalled the surveillance footage, Naruto deconstructing matter, people, and buildings dissolving into particles. He wasn't destroying, he was repurposing. "Formation Delta," she commanded. "Hawk, perimeter scan." "Spider, surveillance deployment." "Snake, chakra mapping." "I'll take point reconnaissance." They moved efficiently despite unease. Satsuki approached alone, senses razor sharp. No guards, no traps, the structure stood open, as if awaiting her. A trap, her mind warned, yet she advanced, driven by a need to understand Naruto's transformation and purpose. At the pyramid's base, massive light-absorbing doors stood open, carved with pulsing ancient symbols. Stepping inside, she entered cool darkness smelling of cedar, incense, and ozone. The vast chamber ceiling vanished above, light filtering through precise apertures to strike the polished floor. A central dais held astronomical instruments, golden armillary spheres rotating without mechanisms, tracking celestial bodies, known and unknown. Beside them, adjusting a sphere with delicate precision, stood Naruto, back turned. "Right on schedule," he said, dual voice echoing. "I wondered if you'd come alone or bring your shadows." Satsuki's hand drifted to her sword. "You knew we were coming." "I've known since you took the mission." He turned, and his progressed transformation shocked her. Whisker marks had become flowing calligraphy across his skin. Crimson-dominated hair floated, defying gravity. A liquid-like black garment rippled with his movements. His spiral eyes, violet, hypnotic, drew her in. "Don't," she snapped, activating her Sharingan against potential ocular jutsu. Naruto's smile was startlingly human. "The Sharingan won't shield you from what these eyes reveal, Satsuki. I'm not here to trap you, just to show you." "Show me what?" She catalogued attack vectors, escape routes. "The truth." He gestured, and the air shimmered, forming images of Konoha streets, buildings, then interiors, council meetings, operations, secret facilities with unwilling test subjects. "Parlor tricks," Satsuki dismissed, heart pounding. "Genjutsu can fake anything. Not illusion memory." Naruto stepped closer, steps fluid. "What I've become lets me see beyond physical limits, past, present, potential futures, all accessible." "What are you?" She drew her sword, stopping just shy of his throat. "What's possessed Naruto Uzumaki?" He didn't flinch, expression softening with pity. "No possession, evolution." His voice gentled. "The Nine Tails wasn't just a beast, Satsuki. It was a seal, a fragment of a consciousness older than the Sage of the Six Paths, older than Shinobi. A story to justify mass murder," she countered, blade steady. Faster than her Sharingan could track, his hand bypassed her sword, touching her forehead with two fingers, a gesture echoing her brother's childhood promises. The brief contact flooded her mind with images, knowledge, sensations too vast to grasp. She staggered, sword wavering, glimpsing the entity within, not a tailed beast, but a primal consciousness predating humanity, fragmented and sealed by ancient mystics fearing its power. The Nine Tails was one piece, its true nature masked by rage. Naruto's death shattered those barriers, beginning reunification. "You're becoming a god," she whispered, the implications terrifying. "Not becoming, remembering." Naruto, or the entity within, adjusted the instruments with care. "This consciousness predates the word god, a fundamental force with awareness." He gestured upward, where thousands of lights twinkled like stars, moving in conscious patterns. The people, villages not erased, elevated. Their awareness continues, united, free of physical limits. Horror and fascination clashed within her. "Without consent." "With the same consent your village gave me when it sent assassins," he countered, voice sharp. Violet flames of chakra flickered across his skin, unburning. "At least I offer a choice than Konoha ever granted its sacrificial tools." His words struck a chord Satsuki couldn't ignore. The Uchiha massacre, Naruto's life as a Jinchuriki, her own shaping into an elite weapon from childhood, the pattern was undeniable to anyone who dared look. "Why show me this?" she demanded, gesturing at the impossible temple. "Why not kill me like the Umbu who struck you down?" "Because you were different." He stepped closer, and she didn't raise her blade. "You watched from the shadows that night but didn't act. You hesitated. I want to know why." The question pierced her disciplined facade, unearthing truths buried under duty. "It wasn't my mission," she said, the excuse ringing hollow. "Lie to yourself, but not to me." His voice held no anger, only certainty. "These eyes see the truth behind your words. You hesitated because you questioned, doubted Konoha's justice. Before she could respond, he moved with uncanny speed, circling her, studying from angles that set her instincts ablaze. I could deconstruct you now, elevate your consciousness like the others, he said, his voice everywhere and nowhere. But that's not why you're here. I'm here to eliminate a threat, she said through clenched teeth, turning to track him. Are you? He stopped before her, close enough for her to feel the unearthly heat radiating from him. Or are you here to understand? Because part of you sees the corruption at Konoha's core and wonders if there's another way. Sasuke attacked, her blade a blur of legendary precision, infused with lightning chakra for a killing strike. It should have ended any threat, divine or mortal. Naruto didn't dodge or block, her sword passed through him like water, his form rippling and reforming unharmed. Physical attacks can't touch what I've become, he said, without mockery. But I respect the attempt to resolve your moral conflict. Fury surged. She attacked again, abandoning finesse for raw power. Her Sharingan blazed, unleashing a barrage fire engulfed him, lightning arced, chakra blade sliced. Nothing landed. He moved through her assault like mist through branches, intangible when struck, solid when he chose. Enough, he said, catching her wrist mid-strike with gentle, unyielding force. I could have killed your team the moment you entered this valley, or taken you now. That I haven't should mean something. That you're toying with us, she spat, wrenching free. That I hope for better. Sadness tinged his dual voice. The cycle of hatred and violence that built the shinobi world can end, Sasuke. What I've become sees the pattern: villages using children as weapons, bloodlines as tools for endless war, systems perpetuating suffering for power. Pretty words from someone erasing communities, she countered, breathless. I offer them transcendence. What has Konoha offered but exploitation? Images shimmered between them: black ops, assassinations, political schemes, all bearing Konoha's seal. They send you to kill me, not because I threaten lives, but because I threaten their system. You know nothing of me or my village, she said, conviction wavering. His expression softened. I know they ordered a child to slaughter his clan and branded him a traitor to hide their secrets. I know they isolated and feared me while wielding me as a weapon. I know they've used you since your family died, shaping you into the perfect soldier to replace the brother they broke. The words hit like blows, exposing truths she'd buried. Prove it, she challenged, desperate to dismiss his claims as manipulation. Without a word, Naruto raised his hand. The air rippled, materializing ancient scrolls sealed with restricted archive symbols. He caught them gently, offering them to her. Konoha's darkest secrets, mission reports never meant to see light, orders signed by elders you'll recognize. The truth about the Uchiha massacre, your brother's final mission, and what they planned for you once you've served your purpose. Her hands moved instinctively, taking the scrolls despite every protocol screaming against it. Their weight felt immense. Read them, Naruto said quietly. Verify their authenticity. Then decide if I'm the monster. He returned to the astronomical instruments. You have 36 hours before the next node activates. The pattern can't be stopped, but your path is yours, Satsuki Uchiha. You expect me to betray Konoha based on stolen documents and your word? She asked, tucking the scrolls into her pouch. He glanced back, and for a moment, she saw the boy he'd been: stubborn jaw, unwavering belief. I expect you to seek truth, as you always have. His voice softened. Unlike Konoha, I won't make you a weapon. You're more than your bloodline or skills. Raising his hand, the chamber shifted, space folding impossibly. Return to your team. Read the scrolls. When you know the truth, find me at the Valley of the End. Reality twisted, and Satsuki stood outside the temple, scrolls heavy, Naruto's words echoing. Her team materialized, tense. Captain, Snake said, voice edged with panic. You vanished for 3 hours. We couldn't track or sense you. 3 hours. Sasuke frowned. Her encounter felt like minutes. We were about to initiate emergency protocols, Hawk added, concern in his gaze. Did you engage the target? Her mind raced. 3 hours missing, her team reporting to Konoha, the scroll's enemy intelligence by protocol demanding surrender. I encountered a temporal distortion jutsu, she lied smoothly. The targets develop space-time techniques beyond our intelligence. I couldn't engage effectively. Not entirely false, if incomplete. Orders? Mouse asked, relieved but wary of the looming temple. Satsuki surveyed the structure, Sharingan memorizing details. Fall back to defensive position Alpha. We reassess before the next convergence. I'll take first watch. As her team complied, the scrolls weighed against her hip, heavy with truths she craved and dreaded. The village that cast me out sent assassins. These people choose freely. Naruto's words lingered as she watched her team set camp, loyal Umbu following orders unquestioningly, as she had until now. The scrolls burned, demanding to be read, promising irrevocable revelations. 36 hours until the next node. 36 hours to choose her loyalty. Overhead, the sky's violet shift deepened, a new world dawning, whether Konoha willed it or not. Rain pounded Konoha's gates as Satsuki slipped through, a shadow among shadows. The village slept in pre-dawn gloom, street lights casting hazy halos through the downpour. She'd left her team at the border, claiming a preliminary report a lie too easily spoken. The scroll seared against her hip, their weight disproportionate. Avoiding main roads, she took rooftops and alleys, senses alert for surveillance. The village she'd sworn to protect felt like enemy territory, familiar streets a labyrinth of threats. Rain streamed down her Umbu mask, distorting her vision, mirroring her fracturing certainties. Her sparse apartment, rarely used, felt like a tomb. Entering through the window, she bypassed her security seals. Water pooled at her feet as she stood in darkness, listening for intruders. Nothing. She stripped off sodden armor, arranging it for quick access, and placed the scrolls on a low table, their ancient parchment stark against the modern surface. For long minutes, she stared, these harbingers of truth. Damn you, Naruto, she whispered, barely audible over the rain. With surgical precision, she disabled visible surveillance seals monitoring Umbu quarters, then the hidden ones tolerated by Root. Finally, she cast her own protective jutsu, scrambling external detection. Privacy secured, she reached for the first scroll. Dawn broke as she read the final word. Pale light filtered through rain clouds, illuminating a face stripped of composure. Her Sharingan verified each seal, signature, and mission detail. Third Hokage, Danzo, elders all matched her mental archives. The Uchiha massacre wasn't a rogue act but a sanctioned mission to prevent civil war, her brother a double agent sacrificing everything. The clan's coup responded to years of segregation post-Nine Tails attack. Other bloodlines faced manipulation, orphaned children endured experiments, and her name appeared in strategic plans, Asset S Uchiha, primary deterrent against foreign aggression. Psychological conditioning via isolation successful. Bloodline propagation to be secured post-high-risk missions. The scroll crumpled in her fist, paper crackling like distant fire. A sharp knock jolted her. Sweeping the scrolls into a hidden floorboard compartment, she donned her mask of control. Enter, she called, facing the visitor sent to watch her. The door slid open, revealing a slight figure in standard Umbu gear, mask painted with minimalist cat features. One of Danzo's loyal Root operatives, known for his emotional detachment. Captain Uchiha, Sai greeted, his smile never reaching his eyes. The Hokage requests an immediate debrief. I've been assigned as your tactical support for the remainder of the mission. Assigned to monitor me, Satsuki thought. I was about to report after recovery protocols, she said aloud. No need to delay, Sai replied, his fixed smile masking emptiness. The situation has escalated. 2 more settlements were affected during your return. Satsuki's pulse quickened, the pattern was accelerating. Location. Instructed to brief you with the Hokage. Sai gestured toward the door. Shall we? She nodded, gathering her gear with efficient movements that hid the turmoil beneath her facade. The hidden scroll's revelations burned in her memory. Tsunade looked aged beyond her years, shadows bruising her eyes, an empty sake bottle on her desk. Maps sprawled across every surface, red markers dotting the northern territories like a spreading plague. Report, Tsunade commanded as Satsuki and Sai entered. Did you make contact? Satsuki calculated her words swiftly. Yes. The target has transformed physically and in capability. Conventional combat is ineffective. Explain, Tsunade demanded, leaning forward. He's evolved beyond human limits, Satsuki said, glancing at Sai peripherally. The entity within isn't just the Nine Tails, something older, possibly predating the Sage of the Six Paths. His chakra is entirely altered. And the settlements? Shizun asked from the window. Satsuki chose her words carefully. He's not destroying them but transforming them, converting matter and consciousness into an elevated state. The people aren't killed, they're changed, retaining collective awareness. She gestured to the map. It's a deliberate array centered on the Valley of the End. My team estimated 36 hours until the next node. 24 now, Tsunade corrected grimly. As Sai noted, 2 more settlements were affected last night, simultaneously. The pattern's accelerating. Satsuki recalculated. Naruto was moving faster than expected. Why? His capabilities. Tsunade pressed. Matter manipulation, space-time distortion, sensory perception surpassing known dojutsu, Satsuki said, maintaining a professional tone. Physical attacks phase through him. His chakra seems limitless. His intentions. Sai's voice was smooth, polished. Satsuki turned slightly. He speaks of transcendence. Evolution believes he's offering salvation, not destruction. Classic messianic delusion, Sai said, empty smile in place. Common in psychological breaks paired with power surges. Did you engage him? Tsunade asked, bypassing Sai's analysis. Another partial truth. My attacks were ineffective. He could have eliminated me but didn't. She paused. He wants something. What? Tsunade's gaze sharpened. Understanding, validation witnesses, Satsuki said. He wants his world transformation observed, recorded. He mentioned the pattern completing at the Valley of the End. Tsunade steepled her fingers, silent for a moment. The containment team recommended evacuating all settlements in the pattern's radius. The fire daimyo refused, citing economic disruption. Hundreds will be affected, Satsuki said, voice neutral. Thousands, Tsunade corrected, fatigue seeping through. But the daimyo thinks we're exaggerating to boost military funding. Politics, even as the world shifted, ironic given the scroll's revelations. Your new orders, Tsunade continued, sliding a sealed scroll across the desk. You and Sai will disrupt the pattern by targeting the focal point. Your team will track the target's movements but not engage. Timing is critical. Reach the Valley of the End before the final node activates. And when we arrive? Satsuki asked, knowing the answer. Eliminate the threat by any means necessary. Tsunade's gaze hardened. Whatever he's become, he was once our shinobi. Find any weakness. Understood, Satsuki said, accepting the scroll with a bow. Captain Uchiha, Tsunade added as they turned to leave. I chose you for your history with Uzumaki. If any part of the boy remains, he might hesitate against you. Use that connection, your past, Any emotional leverage to secure the kill. Standard Umbu approach for high-value targets with personal ties. Yes, Hokage-sama. The words tasted bitter. They left within the hour, racing through forests still wet from the morning's rain. Sai moved like an ink drawing, precise and fluid, staying 3 steps behind her right shoulder, close enough to assist, far enough to watch. Your team reported 48 hours of surveillance at the temple complex, he said as they cleared Konoha's outer boundary. Yet you entered alone and vanished for 3 hours. Not a question, an accusation. Space-time distortion, Satsuki replied, not breaking stride. The targets developed temporal manipulation. 3 hours passed externally, minutes for me. Fascinating, Sai said, voice flat. And in those subjective minutes, what happened with the target? Satsuki glanced at him, catching the gleam in his dark eyes. I attempted engagement. My attacks failed. He claimed transcendence over destruction and suggested Konoha's leadership is corrupt. Standard psychological warfare, Sai noted. Sowing doubt to weaken resolve. Standard, Satsuki agreed neutrally. They traveled in silence for kilometers, maintaining a grueling pace. Rain gave way to muggy heat, the sun blazing unnaturally. The landscape shifted, vegetation formed geometric patterns, animals moved in coordinated formations, streams spiraled perfectly. The transformation extends beyond settlements, Sai observed, examining a tree with fractal leaves. The target's altering the world's fundamental patterns. It intensifies toward the pattern center, Satsuki confirmed, briefly activating her Sharingan. Environmental chakra saturation has tripled since we left. They pressed on, synchronized despite the tension. By midday, they reached a ridge overlooking a valley, expecting a farming community. Instead, a massive temple loomed, evolved from the last floating stone platforms, orbited a central spire, defying gravity. A black pyramid pulsed, rippling transformation outward, trees uprooted into patterns, streams carved geometric channels. This exceeds all intelligence, Sai murmured, his smile slipping, revealing unease. The target's capabilities surpass Root's archives. Satsuki watched, mesmerized by the terrible beauty order emerging from chaos, as if the world held latent potential awaiting a catalyst. We should investigate, Sai suggested, reaching for his ink scroll. Your constructs would be detected, Satsuki cut in. We maintain distance and head to the primary objective. Sai's eyes narrowed. Direct investigation offers tactical advantages. It alert the target, she countered, tone final. We proceed to the Valley of the End. Tension flickered in Sai's shoulders, quickly controlled. As you say, Captain. They skirted the valley, avoiding the pulsing waves. Satsuki felt Sai's constant gaze, assessing, likely reporting to Danzo via Roots-covered channels. By evening, they reached the border forests near the Valley of the End, its waterfall audible. They set a minimal camp, no fire, no comfort, just necessities for brief rest. I'll take first watch, Sai offered, smile returning like a mask. No need, Satsuki said coolly. I don't require rest yet. Interesting, Sai replied, sitting cross-legged beside her. 48 hours of operation typically demands recovery, unless you rested at the temple complex. The veiled accusation hung between them. Are you questioning my decisions, operative? Satsuki's voice turned icy. Not questioning, observing, Sai said, smile widening. Lord Danzo stresses observation, especially when elite assets show unusual behavior. The tension sharpened, dangerous. I was chosen for my history with the target, Satsuki said, meeting his gaze. It gives me insight into his patterns and weaknesses. If that's unusual, request reassignment. I'm exactly where I belong, Sai replied, smile unwavering, ensuring mission objectives without complications. The threat was clear, like a kunai held to her throat. Rage simmered not just at Sai, but at the system that forged him, her, and Naruto, that ordered her brother to kill their clan. Rest if you need to, she said, turning away. I'll wake you at midnight. Neither slept, maintaining a facade of rest, each waiting for the other's move. At false dawn, they packed silently and advanced. The forest grew stranger near the valley of the end. Trees twisted into helical patterns, branches forming precise mathematical sequences, too perfect for nature. Natural. Wildlife moved in synchronized geometric patterns, birds spiraling in murmurations, insects swarming in perfect circles. The air crackled with potential, static raising the hairs on Satsuki's arms. They crested the final ridge under a violet gold sky, unnatural auroras shimmering despite daylight. The valley of the end lay transformed, barely recognizable. The statues of Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju still faced each other across the waterfall, but crystalline growths refracted light in impossible patterns. The waterfall flowed upward, a liquid column defying gravity, linking earth to sky. At its base, a colossal temple complex dwarfed all others Satsuki had seen, its geometry defying comprehension. Convergence point confirmed, Sai murmured, voice tinged with awe despite his training. Countdown to final activation, Satsuki said, her Sherry non-assessing pulsing energies. Hours, maybe less. We should deploy the containment protocol now, Sai urged, reaching for specialized sealing scrolls. Disrupt the focal point before activation. Look, Satsuki interrupted, pointing to the temple's apex, where a figure stood silhouetted against the strange sky. The target's already here. Even from afar, Naruto's presence pressed against her senses, his form shimmering between solid and ethereal, chakra distorting the air. His spiral eyes gleamed like galaxies. Approach vector. Sai asked, shifting to tactical mode. You circle east, I'll take west, Satsuki replied. Converge at the waterfall's base. Maximum stealth. Sai nodded and vanished eastward. Satsuki waited 20 seconds, then veered toward the temple's apex. Forgive me, Sai, she thought, without regret. This conversation can't have witnesses. She moved with umpuhon stealth, suppressing her chakra, using cover and distractions. Yet she knew Naruto's spiral eyes likely tracked her. The temple's architecture defied logic, looping staircases, infinite corridors, chambers connecting illogically. Guided by instinct, she reached the circular platform suspended above the reversed waterfall. Naruto stood at its center, gazing at spiral patterns in the violet sky. Right on schedule, he said without turning, dual voice clear over the waterfall's roar. Though you've misplaced your watchdog. He'll notice the deception soon, Satsuki replied, maintaining a combat stance despite its proven futility. We don't have much time. Naruto turned, and Satsuki inhaled sharply. His transformation had escalated, his form a blend of matter and energy, skin glowing with flowing patterns like circuitry. Crimson gold hair floated, defying gravity. His spiral eyes drew her gaze into infinite depths. Always so urgent, he said, smiling with startling human warmth. Some things never change, even as everything does. The scrolls, Satsuki cut in. I verified them. They're authentic. Of course. He gestured, and the platform stone flowed into seats. These eyes can't perceive lies. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Satsuki stayed standing, tense. Why me? Why not others they might have sent? You already suspected, Naruto said, sitting gracefully. Since your brother chose village over family, you've carried doubt like a kunai against your ribs. Painful, familiar. Reading minds now, she snapped. Patterns, he corrected. Human behavior forms patterns these eyes see. Your loyalty's complex, duty versus suspicion, obedience versus rebellion. His accuracy stung. And you? What pattern drove this? She gestured at his transformed state. Necessity. The word hung between them. That night, death offered dissolution or transformation. The entity within the Nine Tails gave a third path reunification, remembrance of what was before the shinobi world and what comes after. After. Satsuki's eyes narrowed. What happens when your array completes? Naruto moved to the platform's edge, where the waterfall churns skyward. Restored balance. This world's been fractured, nature subjugated, consciousness weaponized to serve blood-soaked power structures. Images shimmered, shinobi history, clan wars, village betrayals, children as weapons, bloodlines exploited, tailed beasts caged. An endless cycle of violence disguised as peace. The system's broken, Satsuki, since its start. His voice softened, almost pleading. The sage thought chakra would bring peace. Instead, it was weaponized. Villages ended clan wars only to institutionalize violence. So you force transcendence on unwilling people. Satsuki challenged, as images confirmed the scrolls and more. I offer choice where I can, Naruto countered, more than Konoha gave me, your brother, or you. But the transformation will proceed. The pattern completes today. I was sent to stop you, she said, hand on her sword. You were sent to die trying, he corrected gently. They know you can't win. Tsunade chose you hoping our bond might weaken me. Danzo sent Sai to ensure you don't survive. You've seen too much, questioned too much, you're no longer reliable. His words rang true, aligning with the mission's flaws, Sai's surveillance, the suicidal objective. Believe me or not, Naruto continued, reading her conflict, but why send 2 operatives against an S-rank extinction threat? Why not a battalion, unless the goal is to eliminate loose ends? A muffled explosion echoed from below, followed by combat chakra Sai battling the temple's guardians. Your watchdogs caught on, Naruto noted. We have minutes. What will you do, Satsuki Uchiha? Complete your mission, die trying, or face the truth. What truth? She demanded, emotions cracking her facade. That Konoha used us? I've seen the evidence. That doesn't justify transforming the world against people's will. Not against beyond their understanding, Naruto corrected. Like children refusing bitter medicine. The system must break for something better. He stepped closer, unafraid of her anger. This consciousness predates humanity, saw chakra's first use, the sage's errors, the corruption. It sees where this path leads greater suffering, weapons, wars. Another explosion, closer. Sai was ascending, likely reporting to Danzo. I don't have your eyes, Satsuki spat. I can't see cosmic patterns. I see you imposing transformation without consent. Then see through mine, Naruto said, offering his hand. Just once. See the full pattern before you choose. She should attack, die as a loyal Umbu, upholding the illusion of her life. Instead, she took his hand. Contact seared her consciousness, barriers dissolving before a flood of awareness. Her Sharingan activated, struggling to process the vastness. She saw the pattern, not just Konoha's lies or shinobi violence, but humanity's chakra-driven trajectory, looming wars, devastating weapons, self-destruction within decades. Then, Naruto's alternative evolution, not destruction. Consciousness unbound, matter and energy unified, bloodlines as diversity, chakra reconnecting life. Transformed settlers' awareness thrived in harmony, not competition. She saw her own potential freedom from conditioning's cage. The vision ended, leaving her gasping on her knees. Naruto knelt, spiral eyes compassionate. Now choose, he said softly, knowing the full truth. The platform shook as Sai breached the upper levels, erupting with ink beasts around him. Blood streaked his face, his smile replaced by cold resolve. Captain Uchiha, he called, voice steady despite labored breathing. Step away from the target. Containment protocol initiated. Sasuke rose, instinctively positioning herself between Naruto and Sai, body acting on a truth her mind still grappled with. Stand down, Sai, she ordered, voice firm despite her turmoil. Sai's eyes narrowed, flicking between them. You've been compromised. Lord Danzo anticipated this. His hands moved with rapid precision, forming seals not an attack but a root activation sequence. Too late, Sasuke recognized it, a remote trigger for loyalty seals, not for Sai but for her. Pain erupted in her skull as dormant seals unknown, non-consensual activated. Memory fragments surged through the agony, routine medical exams, standard umbu procedures, countless moments Danzo could have embedded control. Contingency Protocol 7 activated, Sai intoned, voice distant through her pain. Asset containment in effect. Lord Danzo sends his regards, Captain. The seal seared her chakra network, overriding control, flooding her mind with imperatives, kill the target. Protect Konoha. Complete the mission. Her body betrayed her, drawing her sword, turning toward Naruto. She fought, muscles trembling, but her feet advanced, blade rising. "NAR," she gritted out, voice strained. "I see it," he replied calmly, unmoving as her sword neared his chest. Crude seals, but effective another of Konoha's chains on free will. Sai watched, ink beasts poised if the trigger failed. The village protects itself by all means. Your cooperation is appreciated, Captain Uchiha. Her trembling arm fought the blade's path. Her mind screamed against the violation, but her body obeyed buried programming. Help me, she whispered, shame burning at her weakness. Naruto's smile echoed their genin days, bright on his transcendent face. Always so stubborn, Sasuke, asking for help only when it's almost too late. He touched her forehead, a gesture like her brother's old promises. His chakras surged, not breaking the seals but weaving new pathways around them, restoring choice. The commands persisted, but she could defy them. Her arms steadied, vision cleared her body, her will, reclaimed. She pivoted, sword arcing toward Sai with lethal precision. Asset realignment confirmed, Sai said flatly, forming new seals. Termination protocol engaged. His ink beast surged forward. Sasuke met them, Sharingan blazing, slicing through with lightning-infused steel. Ink splattered, hissing against the platform's transformative energies. Konoha made me a weapon, she called, advancing, but they never asked who I'd choose to wield me. Sai shifted to close combat, drawing his tanto. Their blades clashed, sparks flying to elite assassins, products of brutal training. Your emotional compromise was predicted, Sai said, circling. Lord Danzo's assessment of your vulnerabilities was accurate. And yours? Sasuke countered, Sharingan tracking his movements. Or did he strip those with your name and identity? A flicker crossed Sai's face, quickly smoothed. Irrelevant. Mission parameters are absolute. He attacked, fluid and unpredictable despite his wounds. Sasuke matched him, her Sharingan anticipating, her body honed by Konoha's conditioning. They were equals in skill, but Sasuke fought with newfound clarity. She disengaged, gaining distance. What's your real name, Sai? Before Root took it? The question startled him, creating a microsecond's hesitation. Irrelevant, he repeated, voice uncertain. Relevant to you, she pressed, parrying while conserving energy. To the child you were before Danzo erased him. Don't you want to remember? Memory is weakness, Sai recited, but his attacks wavered. Is that why they sealed mine? Sasuke countered, driving him toward the platform's edge. Buried the truth about my clan, my brother, anything that'd give me choice. The village requires loyalty, Sai said, defenses holding despite his distraction. Individual desire threatens security. Village security or Danso's power. Her blade nicked his sleeve, drawing blood. Did you know he has my clansman's Sharinon implanted in his arm, stolen from the massacre he ordered? Sai faltered, shock breaking his conditioning. Satsuki's blade pierced his chest non-fatal, immobilizing. He dropped to one knee, blood staining his jumpsuit. How did you know about Lord Danso's modifications? He gasped, confused. I didn't, Satsuki admitted, standing over him. Your reaction confirmed it? Naruto watched, letting her resolve the conflict. The platform pulsed as the convergence neared, reality warping. You have a choice, Sai, Satsuki said, lowering her blade. Die for a village that erased you, or live to find who you could have been. Blood trickled from Sai's mouth, his smile gone. There's no choice. The seal on my tongue ensures silence, compliance. Defection means death. He met her gaze, curious. How did you break your conditioning? I didn't, she said, glancing at Naruto. I found something stronger to believe in. The platform shuddered, the waterfalls roared deafening, the violet sky swirling into a massive spiral mirroring Naruto's eyes. It's beginning, Naruto said, voice resonant. The final convergence can't be stopped. Choose quickly, Satsuki Uchiha. She stood at a crossroads, loyal Umbu versus free woman, Konoha's lies behind, an unknown future ahead. Sai coughed, blood on his lips. If you've broken conditioning, kill me. Complete your defection. It's the only mercy. Satsuki studied him, another victim of the system. No. You deserve a choice. She knelt beside him. Naruto. Naruto approached, placing a hand on Sai's forehead despite his weak resistance. Not all conditioning can be undone, he warned. Some runs too deep. Try, Satsuki insisted. He deserves a chance. Naruto nodded, chakra flowing into Sai. The operative convulsed, eyes widening as new pathways formed around his conditioning. When it faded, he slumped, catching himself on trembling arms. I remember, he whispered, voice raw. My brother. Shin. I had a brother. The seal. Satsuki asked. Sai touched his tongue. Still there, but I can choose to obey. Wonder colored his voice. Is this freedom? The platform lurched, reality warping as the waterfall connected to the sky's spiral, forming a bridge to the beyond. Decision time, Naruto said, offering Satsuki his hand. The transformation completes with or without you, but I'd prefer with. Sai struggled to his feet, wounds bleeding but eyes resolute. The village will send others battalions. They'll try to stop this, not understanding it. Let them, Naruto replied. This phase is irreversible by human means. He kept his hand extended to Satsuki, patient amid the cataclysmic energies. She looked at him once, her teammate, rival, perhaps the only one who saw beyond her Uchiha name. Now a transcendent being, yet still Naruto in essence. Konoha tried to kill him for existing, sent her to finish it, planted seals to enforce her compliance. The monster wasn't Naruto, it was the system that shaped them. I'd rather be a villain with you than a hero for them, she said, taking his hand. Reality shifted. The platform, temple, and valley dissolved into particles, reforming into impossible structures. The waterfall widened into a pathway to the sky's spiral. What about you? Satsuki asked Sai. The village is all you've known. Sai stared at his bloodied hands, then the pathway. The village took my name, my brother, my will. I want to discover what they stole. Naruto offered his other hand. The path welcomes all who choose freely. Sai took it, and the transformation hit critical velocity. The world dissolved into pure potential, matter, and energy recombining under new laws. The sky's spiral opened like an eye, revealing a reality of unified consciousness and matter. What happens to those who don't choose? Sasuke asked, ascending the liquid column toward the opening. They remain in the old world until they're ready, Naruto said. No forced transcendence, only invitation. Behind, Konoha's forces mobilized Jonin and Umbu, racing toward a confrontation already beyond them. They'd find the Valley of the End transformed into the Valley of Beginnings, a nexus between the old world and the potential new. Ascending, Sasuke felt no regret, only clarity, purpose, and a fierce joy she thought lost. Konoha forged her as a weapon to uphold its corrupt system. Now, she'd help build something better from its ruins. I'd rather be a villain with you, she whispered as they neared the threshold between worlds, than a hero without you. The spiral eye embraced them, reality reshaping around and through them. Beyond, a new world awaited those bold enough to forge it. Rain pounded the training ground like silver darts, turning earth to mud, rendering the familiar alien and perilous. Sasuke stood at its center, face tilted to the deluge, hair plastered to her scalp, clothes clinging like a second skin. Lightning split the sky, illuminating devastation, splintered training posts, smoldering craters, trees cleaved by lightning-infused steel. The exertion hadn't silenced her mind. 3 days since the scrolls. 3 days of flawless performance, perfect reports, playing the loyal captain under Sai's relentless watch. 3 days of her certainties crumbling. You'll catch your death out here, a lazy voice drawled. Kakashi emerged from the shadows, his visible eye creased with possible concern beneath his mask. His gait betrayed lingering wounds from his last clash with Naruto. Worried, Sensei? Satsuki didn't turn, her tone mockingly light. How touching. Professional interest, Kakashi said, stopping a respectful distance away. The village can't lose its best tracker in a crisis. Lightning flashed, thunder rattling her bones. Satsuki turned, Sharingan scanning his chakra for deceit. Did Sai send you? She asked bluntly. Kakashi's eyebrow rose. Charming, that one. No, concerned you're pushing too hard. 3 days without sleep isn't optimal. I've operated longer under worse, she retorted. Yes, but not while destroying training grounds at 3 a.m. after filing perfect reports that reveal nothing useful. Anger warmed her against the rain's chill. My reports were comprehensive. Masterpieces of saying nothing, Kakashi countered, stepping closer. You met the target, assessed his capabilities, deemed confrontation ineffective, all true, but lacking insight from the one person in Konoha who might understand what Naruto's become. Her hand tightened on her sword. Careful, Kakashi. That sounds like an accusation. Observation, he said, shrugging, water streaming from his shoulders. You've been different, outwardly focused, inwardly distant, like you're playing a role. Poetic, she scoffed, unease prick cling. Kakashi always saw too much. I'm not in the mood for psychology. No. He tilted his head, gaze piercing. Then maybe for memory. You weren't the only one who trained here. His hands flashed seals, rain shimmering as genjutsu enveloped the grounds. The storm vanished, replaced by a sunlit afternoon years ago. 3 genin appeared, phantoms of chakra and memory, a scowling younger Satsuki, an insecure yet determined Sakura, and Naruto, bright and irrepressible, challenging his team to absurd contests. Remember this. Kakashi's voice cut through. Your first A-rank mission. You were all insufferably proud. Memory, Naruto taunted memory Satsuki, her sharp retorts fueling him. Beneath their bickering, respect and reluctant affection flickered. Stop this, Satsuki demanded, throat tight. Release the genjutsu. Not yet. Kakashi shifted the scene. Team 7 sparring, Naruto rising despite Satsuki's superior skill. Why keep getting up? Memory, Satsuki snapped. Memory, Naruto grinned, bloodied but defiant. Because you think knocking me down will make me stay down. I'm gonna prove you wrong. Believe it. The memory morphed Chunin exams, Naruto shielding a wounded Sasuke from Orochimaru with raw courage. You were his first precious person, Kakashi said softly. The bond he chose. Is this supposed to make me hesitate? Satsuki's voice cracked. Weaken me with nostalgia. It's to remind you who you're hunting, Kakashi said, dissolving the genjutsu. Rain returned. Not just what he's become, but who he was, who you were together. Rain mingled with tears on her cheeks. She turned away. That boy died 3 months ago. What's left is something else. Are you sure? Kakashi stood beside her, close but not crowding. Reports mentioned choice, precise patterns, not chaotic rage. That sounds like Naruto's stubborn drive for better ways. The observation echoed her buried thoughts. What are you suggesting? Consider all possibilities before you face him. His voice softened. And remember, some in Konoha valued Naruto beyond a weapon, just as some value you beyond your bloodline. Before she could reply, he vanished in a swirl of leaves and rain, leaving her with a storm in her mind. Memories haunted her the next morning, Kakashi's genjutsu unlocking sealed doors. Naruto saving her from Haku, facing Gaara for her, vowing to retrieve Sasuke. He never gave up on me, she realized, the truth cutting deep. Even when I gave up on myself. You seem distracted, Captain, Sai said, materializing beside her, smile fixed. Troubling thoughts. Satsuki's face smoothed. Strategic assessment. The pattern's acceleration shortens our timeline to the Valley of the End. Indeed, Sai said, matching her pace. I've prepared supply requisitions for tomorrow. Containment scrolls are ready. She nodded, mind racing. Sai hadn't left her side, his surveillance cloaked as partnership. Meeting Naruto would require evading him. I need to review terrain maps, she said, veering toward the intelligence division. The valley's chakra conductivity could affect our approach. Excellent precaution, Sai said, smile unwavering. I'll assist. Hours dragged, Sai's proximity suffocating. Satsuki prepared with efficiency, calculating escape routes. By nightfall, her patience frayed. You don't need to follow me to my quarters, she snapped, leaving the Hokage Tower. I know the way. Protocol suggests partners stay close during critical phases, Sai replied. Lord Danzo stresses unified tactical awareness. Of course he does, Satsuki thought. A flicker caught her eye, a shadow where none should be, a ripple in reality. Her Sharingan activated, detecting a pulsing chakra distortion, unlike anything Konoha native. Naruto. Fine, she said, glacial. We'll review containment jutsu one last time. Leading Sai to her apartment, she added, I need to shower. Even Umbu have standards. Of course, Sai said, smile cold. I'll prepare tea. Her apartment felt like a trap. In the bathroom, she turned the shower to full, steam masking sound. The distortion rippled across her mirror, folding reality into a pocket dimension. A scroll materialized. Satsuki grabbed it, trembling with fear and anticipation. In Naruto's elegant scrawl, midnight, come alone or not at all. Where it began. The scroll dissolved into light, leaving no trace. Under scalding water, she pieced it together. Where it began, not the academy or their first mission, too monitored. The old training ground, Team 7's bell test, where they became more than rivals. Evading Sai required something bold. A rare smile curved her lips as a plan formed. Sometimes, the best escape was direct. Your tea, Captain, Sai offered, extending a cup as she emerged, hair damp, in Umbu under armor. Satsuki took it, sipping deliberately. The bitter undertaste confirmed her suspicion drugged, not lethal, meant to make her compliant. Standard route tactic for compromised assets. She set the cup down. You know, Sai, I've been thinking about unified tactical awareness. His expression stayed blank. She moved to the window, gazing at village lights. Partnership requires trust, doesn't it? Absolute confidence in each other's judgment and loyalty. Unquestionably, Sai said, watching with predatory interest masked as collegiality. Then perhaps you should explain. Sasuke turned, cherry non-blazing, voice cold as steel. Why did you drug my tea? The accusation hung in the air. Sai's false smile vanished. Precaution, he said, unapologetic. Your behavior suggests emotional compromise regarding the target. Emotional compromise. Her tone was lethal. Is that what you call seeing through Kanaha's lies? Sai's hand edged toward his weapon pouch, nearly imperceptible. Captain Uchiha, you should rest before tomorrow. The drug ensures uninterrupted sleep. How thoughtful. Satsuki closed the distance in a flash, seizing his wrist before he could draw. But I have other plans. Sai's training kicked in. He twisted free, striking at nerve clusters to disable a lesser opponent. Satsuki's Sharinon anticipated every move, countering with precision. Their fight erupted, a deadly dance shattering furniture, cracking walls. No words, only the primal language of combat, each strike a statement, each block a rebuttal. You're making a mistake, Sai said, breaking apart, blood on his lip. Lord Danzo anticipated your instability. Contingencies are in place. I'm counting on it. Satsuki's hands blurred through seals, summoning a massive hawk. Its wings filled the room, talons splintering the floor. The bird screeched, disoriented, its gusts shattering windows, hurling debris. Amid the chaos, Satsuki launched through the broken window, chakra propelling her across rooftops, away from the village center. Pursuit would be swift. Umbu squads would mobilize against a rogue captain. The hawk bought her seconds, nothing more. She darted through shadows, path erratic, weaving through civilian districts for cover. Her mind mapped surveillance points, patrol routes, hidden passages. Kanaha's training turned against it. The old training ground lay beyond the academy, a clearing ringed by ancient trees that had seen generations of shinobi rise or fall. Satsuki approached, chakras suppressed, Sharinon scanning for traps. Moonlight dappled the ground, illuminating 3 weathered training posts from Team 7's Bell test. Memories hit hard. Naruto's indignant protests, her grudging respect, Kakashi's hidden smile as bonds formed. You came. Naruto's dual-toned voice, both familiar and ancient, emerged from the shadows. He stepped into moonlight, and Satsuki's breath caught. His transformation had deepened his form, a blend of matter and energy, skin glowing with pulsing patterns. Crimson gold hair flowed like liquid flame around sharpened, transcendent features, yet unmistakably Naruto. I shouldn't have, she said, keeping distance, hand on her sword. My handlers likely sounded the alarm. We have minutes. Time bends for me. Naruto gestured, and reality shimmered, forming a bubble where seconds inside stretched to hours outside. No interruptions. Convenient, she said, Sharinon analyzing him. Why here, Naruto? This place. He circled the training posts, steps fluid. Here, we became more than strangers forced together. We chose each other, however reluctantly. His touch aged and rejuvenated a post, rippling energy. A fitting place for another choice. I've made my choice, she said coldly. I'm an Umbu captain. My duty's clear. Is it? His spiral eyes pierced her facade, seeing the doubt beneath. Then why come alone? Why risk everything to meet Kanaha's greatest threat? The question cut deep. Duty demanded reinforcements, traps, elimination. Yet she'd broken cover. To understand, she admitted. The scrolls proved Konoha's corruption, but that doesn't justify transforming settlements, reshaping reality. What gives you the right? Not right responsibility. Naruto approached slowly. What I've become carries burden and purpose. The entity within awakened suppressed bloodlines, abilities not just the 9 tails, but something older. Explain. Curiosity overrode her detachment. Above his upturned palm, chakra formed a miniature galaxy. Before the sage distributed chakra, before the 10 tails split, primordial entities shaped reality, pure chakra unbound by form. The galaxy showed figures wielding incomprehensible powers, manipulating time, folding space, transforming matter. The 9 tails held a fragment of one, sealed by those fearing its power. When I died, that seal broke, reconnecting me to its whole. You're possessed, Sasuke said, gripping her sword. No, elevated. He closed his palm, the vision fading. My consciousness remains, but expanded, accessing memories and abilities predating the shinobi world. And that authorizes you to transform others without consent. Anger flared. To erase villages, reshape reality on a whim. Not whim, correction. Frustration edged his voice. The shinobi systems broke in villages, weaponizing children, bloodlines exploited, powers for destruction, not creation. The scrolls showed you Konoha's betrayal, their plans to use and discard you. His truth burned. So you play God, forcing transformation. Not forcing offering. He stepped closer, she resisted, retreating. Those transformed chose it, Satsuki. I offer transcendence, evolution beyond a system of exploitation. How can people consent to something they can't comprehend? She challenged. The same way you will. He stood close, his heat otherworldly. By seeing truth clearly, understanding what is and what could be. His hand traced the air, forming images from her memories, Satsuki finding her slaughtered clan, training until her hands bled, withering inside as an umbu. Parallel images showed Naruto shunned, training alone, forcing smiles over pain. They made us weapons, he said softly. You, a blade of loyalty, me, a container for feared power. Neither of us asked for this, nor deserved it. Her throat tightened, undeniable truth binding them. That doesn't justify becoming what they feared. Doesn't it? His spiral eyes held hers. They feared the uncontrollable, the incomprehensible potential unchained. Images shifted to possible futures, Konoha as a military state, bloodlines bred like livestock, children stripped for Keki I Genkai, wars with devastating jutsu. This is the system's path, Naruto said. My eyes see time's patterns, hatred institutionalized, made efficient. The vision changed the world of free-flowing chakra, diverse bloodlines, connected consciousness. This is what I offer, transformation, not destruction, evolution, not ending. By destroying Konoha, she said flatly. By rebuilding what it should have been. Passion flickered, his old optimism shining through. A place of connection, not control, a home, not a military facade. His words stirred buried questions. What if duty to corruption wasn't virtue? What if loyalty should be earned? Why me? She asked. Why show me this choice? Vulnerability softened his godlike presence. Despite their efforts to pit us against each other, you saw me beyond the demon they labeled me. The confession struck deep, unbidden memories surfacing, moments when rivalry hinted at something more. You could have chosen anyone, she said. Sakura admired you, Hinata loved you, they'd follow without question. I don't want followers. His voice was purely Naruto, raw and honest. I want a partner, someone who questions, challenges, chooses with clarity, not blind faith. He extended his hand, offering, not demanding. I want you, Satsuki Uchiha, not as a weapon or bloodline, but as yourself, you, beneath the layers they imposed. The world stilled, reality pausing as Sasuke stood at a crossroads. Behind her lay Konoha, its familiar corruption, comforting lies, a path of blood and sacrifice. Before her, Naruto offered transformation, uncertainty, and terrifying freedom. "If I refuse," she whispered. "I continue alone," he said. "No threat, only truth. The pattern completes tomorrow at the Valley of the End, with or without you. I won't force you, that would make me no better than those who shaped us." Satsuki closed her eyes, seeking clarity in darkness. This wasn't just about Konoha versus Naruto, it was about who she'd become, a weapon forged by others or a self-defined existence. When she opened her eyes, her choice sharpened. "Show me," she demanded. "Not visions, show me what transformation means, what I'd become." Naruto's expression mixed relief and caution. "It's not painless. Seeing beyond ordinary perception breaks inner barriers." "When has anything worthwhile been painless?" she retorted, a trace of her old arrogance surfacing. He smiled, that bright grin piercing her defenses. "Close your eyes." She obeyed, instinct screaming against vulnerability. His fingertips brushed her forehead, light as a memory of her brother. Chakras surged, electrifying her nerves, illuminating dormant pathways. Pain bloomed, not physical but existential, perception stretching beyond its limits. She gasped, knees buckling, but Naruto's arms caught her. "Stay with it," his voice urged, "everywhere and nowhere. Don't fight. Let the barriers break." Reality shattered. Through closed lids, she saw with primal clarity energy patterns connecting all life, time as overlapping potentials, each choice rippling reality's fabric. Naruto appeared as a nexus, human consciousness fused with something vaster, incomplete without its human core. The entity wasn't controlling him but merging, creating something new. Most jarring, she saw herself layers of conditioning over a suppressed core, bloodlines beyond the Sharingan, sealed abilities feared by those craving control, a cage of duty and revenge. "Do you see?" Naruto's voice cut through the revelations. "What they stole from us, what we could be without their chains." "Yes," she whispered, universes in a single word. Perception receded, reality solidifying. Her eyes opened, vision transformed, not just Sharingan but evolved, integrated with energy patterns. Naruto gazed in awe as her crimson irises swirled with new black tomo. "Mangekyo," he breathed, but different beyond Uchiha archives. Power flowed through long dormant pathways, awareness expanding connections between all things, truth beneath facades. This is what they feared, she realized, chakra visible under her skin. Not just the nine tails or my Sharingan, but what we'd become unchained. "Now you understand a choice," Naruto said, stepping back. "Return to Konoha's cage or help me build anew from their system's ashes." The answer seemed clear, yet she hesitated. "I can't abandon the village entirely," she admitted. Not everyone's corrupt innocence would face transformation without choice. His respect shone through. "Then save them. Return as their protector, not Konoha's weapon. When the pattern completes, guide the worthy to evolution." The idea clarified her path, not defection but infiltration, not abandonment but preparation. She'd return to Konoha, not as its defender but as a herald of change. "They'll notice," she said, gesturing to her evolved eyes. "The Mangekyo can't be hidden." "You won't need to." Naruto touched her face, his chakra weaving a subtle genjutsu to mask her evolution's true nature, presenting only an enhanced Sharingan to most observers. "They'll see an Umbu captain whose eyes evolved under stress, a deadlier weapon for the village." "Tomorrow at the Valley of the End," she confirmed, resolve firm. "And the rest?" he asked, testing her. "They'll reap what they've sown," she said, voice steely. "A system built on sacrifice deserves no less." The time bubble dissolved, reality returning. Distant shouts broke the clearing silence. Search parties hunting the rogue captain. They're coming, Naruto said, fading into shadows. What will you tell them? Satsuki's smile was cold, her evolved eyes scanning escape routes. That their weapon malfunctioned briefly, that I've neutralized the threat and am ready for the mission. Are you? He asked, his form dissolving into light. She thought of the scrolls, Sai's drug tea, her brother's sacrifice, a lifetime serving a system designed to discard her. I've never been more ready, she said, truth in every word. Tomorrow, we burn it down and build better from the ashes. As Naruto vanished, Satsuki knelt, deliberately disheveled, sword drawn, bloodied by a calculated cut. When the Umbu squad burst in, they found their captain wounded but victorious, having repelled a shadow clone. Captain Uchiha, the squad leader said cautiously. Are you injured? Superficial, she replied, sheathing her blade. The target attempted contact but was repelled. I gathered valuable intelligence. An operative sigh, another asked. Recovering in medical, she lied smoothly. He triggered a trap meant for me. His sacrifice gave me the opening to counterattack. The team relaxed, her story aligning with expectations. None noticed her eyes' subtle shift, seeing only the weapon they revered. The Hokage requests your immediate report, the leader said, offering a hand she ignored, rising alone. Of course, Satsuki said, her mask of loyalty flawless. I have much to share before tomorrow. As they escorted her back, her awakened perception revealed Konoha's truth genjutsu in architecture reinforcing loyalty, chakra fields limiting potential. The village wasn't a home but a prison, not a protector but a parasite. Rage could have consumed her, but only cold resolve remained. Tomorrow, she vowed, eyes on the Hokage monument. I'd rather be a villain with you than a hero for them. Her evolved Mangekyo spun, counting down to transformation.